Good morning, Groovers. Welcome to flight 720 to the moon on Pittsburgh Airlines. I hope you have brought your own snacks, beverages. I just have to do the compulsory lip balm. I've got my coffee. Hope you brought your own. Hope you brought your own seatbelt, life jacket, seat, actually. Pretty much everything. Those little air things that drop down the masks. Um, Pip and we're away. We're off to town for my second last ever day in my current job. And I am incredibly excited, but I've still got Mondayitis. I don't normally work in town on Mondays, but almost like as some sort of punishment for me leaving, I was asked to work in town for the last 2 Mondays, which meant that I lost a work from home day. Well, I lost two, really. Hello, Scout. CCC, how are you? So I thought I'd go live, have a bit of a chat about being there because it's her anniversary of her leaving the planet. Hopefully finding somewhere better than Tony Martinis. Look at you all rolling in. This is exciting. Yeah, so it's Mem's anniversary of her death, and always think about her, obviously. But December is a very anniversary heavy month for me. Some of you who've been with me for a long time know that there was a December a few years ago where I lost 6 people in a matter of 3 weeks. People that I loved. And then today it's her 4-year anniversary. Some of you might remember me about a friend called Bib who had ovarian cancer. But yeah, don't forget, Groovers, I've left a bit later than usual because my, enthusiasm to get to work early is dwindling. I can't tell you how excited I am to be finishing up. It's such a hard job. Ones like what you guys in the US call a public defender. Here they work for an organisation called Legal Aid, and they're very well funded. Whereas I'm in a community legal centre that is totally relying on government grants and constantly underfunded and overworked. But also, I just think people have only got. Well, I know most people have only got 3 years of community legal work in them because it's pretty full on. Harsh is attacking the families of Idaho victims. There's little ducks on the road. Get off the road, duckies. There's a bus coming. God, get off the road. They're off the road, thank God. Harsh reality. I'm not following any of that stuff anymore. Like, even when there's a court hearing or something, I might discuss it on this channel, but YouTube really is just a place of attacking anyway, which is why this live's about remembering a character who was very polarising and pissed a lot of people off on YouTube being there. But it was all in good fun, and it was back in the day where you could actually have lively discussions and people weren't timed out and blocked as soon as they said something the creator didn't like. And, it was a fun old time. But these days, YouTube's just, we know what it's like. But I've got plans for this channel for the new year, and also Tasmania Calling, you're doing a lot more produced content and less random lives. But yeah, this was an opportunity, I guess, to remember back in the day where people on YouTube could have fun and could stir up the creators and stir up chat, and everyone just had a fucking rollicking good time. I mean, being there was probably the most antagonistic of all of the people I've ever met on YouTube, but and super intelligence, and often what she was saying went straight over people's heads. But she was also notorious for many digs of her own. I met her in the job when I was doing the job that I burnt out from. It's weird. I've had 2 jobs since then. Um, it feels like forever ago that I met her, but it was just a much better time. You know, the personal attacks were restricted to stupid one-liners in chat. They weren't like 7-hour lives about somebody being revolting and everybody rolling in and joining in and, you know, getting ready to bloody storm the streets and bring somebody down. Like, back in the day, it was just a bit of fun. And, you know, being an Aussie, sometimes being there's sarcasm got lost on American creators. But sometimes she missed the point too and got really fired up. But it was still good viewing, you know, and the underwriting theme wasn't meanness or, you know, public bloody lynching. It was fun. And it's just changed so much. I mean, the person Tony mentioned before, Harsh Reality, like, Harsh Reality is not the only person on YouTube who has a crack at victims' families. I mean, seems to almost be a bloody tradition. Look at what happened to the Rucheks, you know, which in itself still repulses me. Like, that total lack of compassion and empathy for people going through something in their lives that is unimaginably horrific. And they just become fodder for big mouths on YouTube. While they're actually in their real worlds, they're coming to terms with losing precious family members and, you know, parents burying children and grandchildren and all of these awful things that they're dealing with. But as far as I'm concerned, they're like out of bounds, you know. You don't go after victims' families and friends, but, well, on YouTube apparently you do. But he's one of many. I mean, some of his biggest critics do it as well, you know, so. And to be honest, it's the people that keep rolling in and listening to that shit that are a huge part of the problem. If people just unsubscribed, that would fix it. It's not that fucking hard. But people like to roll in for all that nastiness and drama, and it's very easy to sit in a chat and let somebody else rip somebody to shreds for your entertainment. Hey, Ruth. You know, in its simplest terms, it's a supply and demand issue. If people stop rocking up for those bullshit lives and stop becoming members and, you know, just unsubscribed, they'd have to find something else to talk about or take their. Oh, there's a peacock. There's a peacock in that paddock. It's unfenced. I hope it doesn't go on the road. Just cruising along as peacocks do. See, driving to work in Tasmania, the things you get to see. How can you be grumpy on a morning driving to work when you get to see a friggin' peacock, you know? But yeah, so I thought chatting about being there and other YouTubers that we've lost along the way, but just the fact that, I mean, I've formed a beautiful friendship with her, um, but she's also indicative of a time on YouTube where it was, I'm not saying it was, clean, innocent fun all the time, but there weren't the revolting ramifications for having a fucking personality and an opinion on YouTube like as there are now. But we had a lot of fun and we'd stir each other, but it wasn't cruel. I mean, I've even noticed a change in, well, I've noticed lots of changes, but like even in the comments people put under my videos, let alone big channels, and emails that you get, like the way people speak these days is so different. Um, we already know the internet gave assholes a voice, but it just continues to escalate to like levels of depravity, the likes of which we've never seen before. You know, if people are reasonable, even if they fucking hate my guts, I'll respond to them. But if they just are outright abusive, I'm not going to bother. What's the point? They're not going to listen to what I have to say. They've already decided, for whatever reason, that something I said makes me the most revolting human being on the planet. There's no point. But yeah, even like interactions between people, it's just people go straight for the jugular. There's no, can we have a chat? This bothered me. Yeah, no worries. Let's talk about it. Just right from the start, they're kind of wishing death on you. It's like, okay, well, I choose not to engage with that person because they've already decided I am the worst person on the planet. I can't imagine what it must be like to be the really big channels and the amount of hatred and vitriol that you get every day. And I'm talking about channels like That Chapter, Beautiful Mike. Like people that are good at what they do, put out quality content, they will still be copying all sorts of hate just because they've got an interest, gone on YouTube to share it with people. I mean, the amount that I get far outweighs the amount of hours I do on YouTube. It makes you think about what the other, and then, I mean, obviously the controversial channels will be copying mountains of stuff, and they're inviting that kind of stuff. But do you guys remember being there? Do you have any fond memories of her stirring the pot? Or jumping up on panels? Or just that era of YouTube being this sort of platform that people discovered and they're like, oh my God, you can go live and you can jump up on panels and hang out with other people, and it's all become a bit, take it for granted. But back in the day when I first found it, I was like, this is insanely cool. It's jealousy and envy. Yeah, I think that's two things, Scout. I think it's lots of things. I think one of the issues I've found with YouTube when people get really upset, it's because they respond because they've internalized something you're talking about. They've made it about them when it wasn't. You know, a bit like here's an example, I mean, it's slightly different, but Kylie Rodney, all the mums on YouTube that were like, well, I wouldn't have let my 16-year-old go to a party out there in the first place. Well, she wasn't your kid. Like, what you would or wouldn't have done is not actually relevant to this discussion. You're not her mum, and you don't live in the community where they live, and what you would or wouldn't do is absolutely irrelevant. You know? It's all about me, people. And that sort of mindset is really limiting on creators because God forbid you touch on a subject that they've got some experience in, suddenly whatever you're saying is specific to them and relates to them when it never fucking does. How's all your Christmas or festive season plans going, guys? Anyway, back to my topic. Does anyone else remember being there? Do you have any memories of her? Or do you have any memories of YouTube when it used to be... Oh, it was still a bit of a roller coaster ride, but it wasn't... Like, the ramifications of having a personality and being a bit of a stirrer back then and nothing like it is now. You don't have, you know, an entire chat calling for your blood and a creator going live about you every day, day in, day out. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of or listened to a lot of YouTube for the last couple of weeks because I've been, I don't know, living. My beautiful oldest friend from childhood who lives in San Diego, she's been home for 3 weeks. She actually flies out tomorrow, which sucks because it's my last day of work, so I won't actually get to see her off at the airport, but she'll be coming back again fairly soon. So, but I've been spending a lot of time with her. Despite the greyness of the day, summer is here. Like, we've had lots of beautiful beach weather. You remember back in the day, back when we met, Scout? It was just a different playground, and Mem was a very prolific player. And she rubbed people up the wrong way, and that just inspired her to be more of an agitator. It didn't put her off because it didn't put... I mean, Mem was very smart, but even the sort of silly, trolly types of people, like, they could still have fun. I mean, we had cooters, obviously, like the cooter group, and they were funny trolls. They didn't have a mean bone in their body. They just wanted to have fun, and you could. But imagine like a group like the cooters starting up now. I mean, God forbid you actually crack a, funny joke or say something sarcastic in chat. Like, that's enough to get you blocked. I even got blocked giving a super chat that had a witty line in it, and the creator didn't understand it because they're not fluent in sarcasm, and I got blocked. Even after giving them some money, like, I haven't super chatted anyone for a couple of years now, but the only YouTube I've really been I love Truly Criminal. She does a great job. I often listen to her when I'm falling asleep for some reason, but you know what I'm like. I get into a topic and research the crap out of it, and I've been stuck in a fentanyl rabbit warren for weeks. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Didn't know. I'd heard a little bit about fentanyl, but didn't appreciate the extent of it in the US. And I've been listening to lots of parents sharing their stories about how their kids died, and lots of documentaries about, you know, where it's coming from, and how lethal it is. And I mean, especially having Angie here, and she lives in San Diego. Like San Diego, their fentanyl crisis is massive because they're so close to Mexico. And my godson, Lockie, is 16. And Angie and her husband are just, I mean, Lockie's an incredibly good kid and smart. But so are all these kids that these mums are talking about and dads are talking about who've taken one pill and that's it. But yeah, it worries them sick, and they've had a lot of conversations with him. And she was saying even their school is really proactive about it. But I mean, that's just blatant murder. The dealers and the people that are making these pills with lethal amounts of fentanyl, I mean, it's straight out murder. And some states are trying to catch up pretty quickly with it, and people are starting to get charged. But because it's a drug thing, so many states are still just like, oh, well, they're all junkies anyway. But they're not. They're kids that take one pill and it kills them. I mean, there's definitely addicts who have ended up taking a fentanyl-laced tablet and lost their lives as well, but they're still fucking human beings. And some of the statistics and the data, like, how many kids are dying per week, and more kids die in a month from fentanyl than in the US than 9/11, but it's not getting the same coverage because so many states look at it as, they're all druggies anyway. It's fucking terrifying. And it's in everything, like, I used to think if I had kids, the thing that would worry me the most would be my kids getting a driver's license because of all of the crazies on the road. But these days, Jesus. See, I've listened to a lot of, I tend to get hyper-focused on a topic, and I think I'm nearly at the point that I have to let the fentanyl rabbit warren go, but how stressful for parents in the US, like, a kid just gets a little pill that looks like it's a legitimate version of the Xanax or whatever the Percocet, whatever they think they've been given, and boom, they're gone. And there are families that have lost, several kids to it. It's absolutely terrifying. And I'm down that rabbit warren and listening to lots of stories and watching lots of documentaries, and I don't have kids. And some days I wonder, do I know more about this than some Americans? Kids explore, experiment, and it's not, obviously not just kids dying from fentanyl overdoses, there's adults as well, but I'm so fucking glad I was a kid in the 80s, I mean, the worst thing that happened in the 80s that we were all absolutely terrified about was AIDS. That was the scary thing. But there was mountains of information about AIDS, and, now there's plenty of HIV positive people that live to, ripe old ages. But they were so quick at getting research and information out there, and we all knew very quickly how, what could happen, the ways that you could contract it. And sadly, a lot of people got it from blood transfusions, but it was an international crisis. Yeah, the one of the kids that I've listened to lots of stories, but yeah, one of the kids had a spliff and it was laced with fentanyl. Gone. And it's good that some states are starting to prosecute the dealers and if they can get to the manufacturers. But there was one story I listened to where the mum she managed to get her son's phone, and it's really interesting how often the phones of the victims become the key evidence. So if you are a parent of anyone, like, it doesn't matter if they're a teenager or an adult, like, share your passcodes, how to get into your phone, because quite a few people have been arrested and charged because of text messages and stuff like that on phones. But the state she was in and the county she was in when her son died, it was before any, and I don't even know if it still does, but they didn't have any legislation or any kind of charges for going after the dealers. She found out who the dealer was and gave all the information to the police. So she did her research, got his address, got the address of his parents, and the cops weren't interested. So she ended up writing a letter to the dealer and also to his parents and just said, come clean, tell the cops what happened. Like, my son died because of you, but do the right thing. And she stupidly wrote it as an anonymous, stupid with hindsight, she said, but she wrote it as, or signed it as Sergeant S. Jones, and she ended up being arrested for impersonating a cop. And the same cop who came to her home, who she welcomed into her home, who told her son had died, was the same cop who arrested her. And she got out on bond. She had a night in jail, and I think her hearing is sometime soon. But, the legislation has to catch up, because it's just, you hear of other parents, their kids ended up in some dealer's house, overdosed, and then, lying dead on a couch for 2 days before anyone finds them. And there are people just living in the house with a dead person on their couch. Just awful, awful. But yeah, I think I've OD'd on my fentanyl obsession. No pun intended. I need to start getting festive and listening to festive things. Sonny's at home listening to Christmas music for dogs with anxiety. I play the dogs one because it's so stupid. The cat music channels on YouTube for cats with anxiety have cats on the screen. And the music's all pretty and whatever, and Sonny's eyes are wide open and she's going, is there a fucking cat in the house? Is that a cat? What's the cat doing? And I'm picturing her attacking my TV when I'm at work one day. She doesn't seem to react as much to the puppy ones, so. Well, they have birds and mice and, yeah, put stuff on the screen that a cat's going to want to attack. That's smart. But she's listening to Christmas music for dog puppies with anxiety today. That'll probably give her anxiety. A day's worth of piano versions of Christmas carols. What else is news? Groovers? Anyone got anything they want to talk about? Won't be as long in the car park as usual because I've been leaving for work way later than I usually do because, I'm about to finish up in a job, and as much as I will work hard today and tomorrow, my fucks to give are getting very low, but they're non-existent really. I'll still do my work, I'll still talk to the clients, but with every client hour that finishes, I'm one step closer to bye bye. I'm not going to miss them. I mean, people have changed so much. It's even, it's not because of COVID, but just generally people have changed. So even the 2.5 years I've been in this job, like we've now got a policy for how to handle abusive clients. We've now got additional security in the building. Like, sorry, I'm chowing down on a shortbread biscuit shaped like a Christmas tree, and it's fucking delicious. I had a green smoothie for breakfast, and it's just made me really hungry. So the snacks I've brought in are now being consumed. I've got a couple of apricots, but they're really juicy, and they're not to be consumed in a car. Mm. I needed that biscuit. It's made me feel better. As I eat something, you're getting all weird. See, I mean, I've loved clients over the last 2.5 years, and I've loved helping them. But there's a new breed of client that's just really, really intense, and a lot of them it's because of the economy. Like, life is just so expensive at the moment, and people are very stressed. But you can still have good manners, especially when you're talking to people who can actually help you. But being abused by people you're trying to help is really deflating. It's soul destroying, especially if you have like a day of clients that are like that. It's very, very, very draining. Or we give them solid advice, but because they were expecting different advice, they abuse the fuck out of you. So we say, okay, well, here's some of our lawyers on our panel firm. You're more than welcome to chat with them, and you'll get a half an hour free appointment, and you can ask them the same question. They get the same advice, and then they ring us back and abuse us for referring them to the lawyers who gave them the same advice we did. They can't win. Well, I'm not going to start giving you bullshit advice to stop you from abusing me, but the law's the law. This is what is going to happen with your matter, and it's not negotiable. We can't change the law. Yeah, the shortbread's amazing. Hi, Out of Handmade Dolls. You miss being there? Yeah, yeah, me too. The lanes look narrow. Yeah, they probably are. I mean, we don't have. Hobart wasn't designed to get as busy as it has, but I mean, this is in the city though. Yeah, the shortbread was amazing. I actually feel like having a second one. Got three. And lunchtime, I'm actually going to one of my favourite places for lunch because I don't know where I'm going to be working next year, and I may not be anywhere near some of my favourite food places. So tomorrow morning, there's a farewell morning tea for me, and I've requested savouries because we always have super sweet donuts and shit like that, and I want the party pies and the sausage rolls and the chicken sandwiches. Thank you very much. But yeah, do they look skinny? I don't know. Hobart's only a small city. Like the population of the city is just over 250,000. But we all function on them, so I guess it's what you know, right? But it's kind of an interesting observation. Now I'm tempted to look and see. I mean, I lived in the States and the lanes were definitely wider in Kansas City, Missouri than here. But, Kansas City, when I was there, had a population of like 2 million, much bigger city. I mean, it'd be way bigger now, but I'm leaving my job. Unless you're chatting to someone else, I wish I could move. I'm stuck. Too poor. Yeah, so one thing I'm really grateful for is that I absolutely love where I live, and even while I'm looking for a new job, I'm going to be living at the beach and getting my mental health walk in every morning. And, if there's anywhere to be broke, it's where I live, I guess. I can't remember where you are out of Handmade Dolls. Well, I know you're in the US, but it does make a big difference if you're happy where you are. You can face any adversity, really. And I mean, I sat out on my deck yesterday and this kookaburra just landed on the railing right in front of me, and I'm like, I'm so fortunate to live where I do. Oh, you're in Canada, that's right. You're not alone. You've got us. We love you. I love Canada. It's very similar to Australia, especially in attitude and sense of humour and stuff. Plus, we've got that, the connection with the Commonwealth. But yeah, no, I'm just leaving my job, not Tassie. I'll leave Tassie to travel, but I'll never leave. Well, I mean, I might retire to Vietnam, sort of bounce between Vietnam and Tassie, but I've left home late, so the chances, there is a park, because nobody can get, actually there's a better one over here. Nobody knows how to get out of that corner one, that's why it's usually free. Hey, this one's better because there's natural light for putting on my makeup. Oops. You had a bit of snow. So you're all about to have a white Christmas, whereas it's summer here. So we have quite often we have the seafood barbecue and we go to the beach. This Christmas for me is at my uncle and auntie's, and they're doing a traditional Christmas. So we're doing the turkey and ham and that kind of stuff, which Australians often do because so many of us are English, Scottish, Irish descent. The power company destroyed my yard. You should see it. I can't fix this. I made it a lawyer to sue. Yeah, you might. You need to get onto. Do you have do you have ombudsman? Like in Australia, there's an electricity ombudsman, and that's who you go to first and complain about what's happened. And they often appoint lawyers to represent you. You do have ombudsman. Yeah, get onto one of them. Because at the very least, I mean, if they don't engage lawyers for you, they can also negotiate for it to be repaired at the power company's expense, not yours. They can make them fix it. So yeah, I'd try them first and then see where that takes you. Oh no. I have just started eating my second Christmas tree shortbread. They're so buttery and naughty. Oh, that's awful. They took everything down. That's really hard because, our properties are our sanctuaries and our gardens are our sanctuaries. And I think back to COVID, how we're all sort of stuck at our homes. Like people got more into gardening, more people started rescuing animals. I'd be Devo. I'd get onto the ombudsman if I were you. Like the telecommunications ombudsman in Australia is awesome. And they're really underutilised. Oh, out of MA does. I'm so sorry to hear that. Mm, good advice, Gab. Yeah, get photos of all the damage and also see if you've got photos of it, before photos as well. Let's put on a bit of makeup. How's this though? My second last day. We usually don't see clients till 10 a.m. because we've got so many emails and admin stuff that we have to do. And I was working from home on Friday and I had a look at my calendar for today. And my admin hour has been taken out of my calendar and I've got a face-to-face with a client. I don't actually have an office now because we had a girl who was a volunteer and she was so good. She did like an internship and now she's employed full-time. And I was only part-time and I'm like, well, and I work from home one day a week as well. So I was like, I'll definitely give Michaela my office. So we helped her set up the office and it's really gorgeous what she's done with it. And I kind of just work wherever there's a space. So like my boss isn't in today, so I could have worked from her office, but because I've got this face-to-face appointment, I'm just going to set up in the meeting room. But the other thing is the people that rock up to unlock the building's meant to be unlocked at 8:30 when we start. I've been coming into work later and later each week. And it's quite possible I'll still be waiting out on the street when my client rocks up. it's a bad way to start the day because you just end up, you know, frazzled at the start, and the frazzling doesn't dissipate as the day goes on. But anyway, 2 more days of it. 5 o'clock tomorrow, I'm going to be a little bit excited. I'm going to miss a lot of things. Like, I love the building that I work in. I've worked in it in 2 different jobs in the last 3 years. A couple of my colleagues are going to be friends for life, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, there'll be a bit of sadness. I'm definitely going to miss some aspects, but I also know that you just can't do this sort of job forever, and it's time for a change. And who knows what the change is going to be, but um, unlike most people that always have a job to go to when they leave a job, I was like, no, I'm going to take January off. I'm a resourceful person. Even if I find sort of like an interim job until I find my perfect job, but I'm really looking for something down where I live, more community focused. I'm doing the dementia care course because I really want to do that on a part-time basis. And I don't really care if my other job is more of a home-based, you know, like a remote, even if it's sort of data entry, or I really don't care. I kind of consider that my bill-paying job, and then my other job is going to be where I'm helping people, making a difference and giving back to my beautiful community. Yeah, we're sending you lots of positive vibes out of handmade dolls and stuff. You need, once you've spoken to the ombudsman or someone who can kind of, or they refer you to someone and they can take over the running of it all, that's going to reduce a lot of the stress and anxiety that you're experiencing at the moment. So, um, hand it over to people that are qualified to fight this battle for you. Yeah, well, ever since I did the 2 dementia courses, I've wanted to do caring, and the sort of caring I want to do is the home care, like the people that are still, like in Australia, a lot of countries around the world, keeping people at home as long as possible is the focus. But having had to give up work and help nurse my mum with my sister at my dad's request, we ended up missing out on a lot of mother-daughter time with mum. And, she was in a lot of pain and wasn't always a joy to be around. And it was really conflicting because we wanted her to be comfortable. I mean, God, we wanted her to be better, but, she wasn't going to recover from what she had. But yeah, I sort of resent that I was forced to do that. Like, I was happy to help out, but we shouldn't have been her full-time carers. And so I feel if I go into dementia care and I help dementia patients who are still at home, if that even frees up, an hour a week minimum, for their families to just be families with them, it's going to make a world of difference. Like, I'm happy to take them to appointments and take them shopping, or even just go for a walk or go for coffee or do some cleaning around the house or whatever it is that just allows their family and friends to spend quality time with them. And I just have this drive to do that because I know what it's like when you're the carer, but you're also part of the family, and it's rough. And when my mum was sick, like the support services that exist now, I mean, Australia even has a carer's pension if you stop working to care for a family member who's terminally ill, you actually get a government pension. But there was nothing like that for us. We had to, I'd fly back to Adelaide and work 3 jobs for a week to pay for my rent and the next flights home. And it was rough. So, yeah, if I can be that person that just lets families be families, even for a couple of hours a week, then God damn it, I'm going to be that person. But Dementia Training Australia are looking at options for me study-wise, and it looks like the shortest course is actually just a straight-up carers course, but then do a placement in like a dementia care home just to get that experience, and then sign up with an agency and go out and do home visits down where I live. That's the plan. You know, and that will be my meaningful job. Sorry, I've nearly finished my makeup. I'm just going to do my mascara. Well, out of Hammer Dolls, I'd still go straight to the Ombudsman because they could call the power company and tell them to show up and clean up the mess and replace your trees. Speak to the Ombudsman first, trust me. I hope so. You do this with hospice, volunteer to help. It's a gorgeous thing to do. I'm not surprised you do that too. In fact, I think you've mentioned that before. Yeah, that's going to be my feel-goody, giving back to my community. And then, I mean, obviously I'll do a lot of volunteering as well. We've got all the disabled surfers stuff happening again, and I'm emceeing a fundraiser in February, and so that's all getting ramped up again, which is awesome. And then, yeah, I really don't care if my other job is a mundane little remote working from home. One of the companies in Tassie keeps advertising they have new projects, and they do like business development, working from home, calling stakeholders. And I've worked in that area before. I've got a lot of experience, and it's like, well, $40 an hour, 2.5 days a week, all my bills are covered, and then I can do the caring on the other day. Plus, I want to have like a dedicated YouTube day because I do really miss it, and it's such an important creative outlet for me, but it's also the one that gets bumped first when there's other things happening. So yeah, as always, I've got a lot of things I want to do and not enough days in the week to do it all. I remember someone telling me that when I was a kid. They were like, the worst thing about getting old is realising you don't have enough time left to do all the things you want to do. That's exactly where I am. There's so many things I want to do. And I have to accept that I can't do all of them. Oh my God, I just found my favourite lip balm that I haven't been able to find for like 3 days. See, good things are happening out of AMA Dolls. I've just found my favourite lip balm that I haven't been able to find for 3 days. So, I think that's a sign. Love to you too, Scout. I know it's very exciting. I'm very excited. I'm just excited that I'm going to have I'm excited that I've been able to take January off because I've always lived from pay to pay. I've never had the luxury of just going, I'm just going to take a month off and not work at all and work out what I want to be when I grow up. And now I actually do have that opportunity. It's pretty exciting and feels very luxurious. I mean, obviously, I need to get a job. Ideally, I'll be doing something when February rolls around. I don't want to be trying to support myself for too long, but it's just lovely having that little bit of freedom to do this. And I also know I need, like I took 2 weeks off in October. As some of you know, I went back to Adelaide and caught up with my best friend over there. And I learned very quickly that those 2 weeks, it was really just at the end of the 2 weeks that I started to feel like I was returning to sort of a healthy headspace, and my appetite came back and I was sleeping better, and I noticed all of those changes. But it took 2 weeks, so I kind of feel the rest of December and all of January is healing time. Well, you're not alone on here, and I know it's not quite the same, but I think a lot of people are, the world's changed. COVID changed things. I'm alone too in terms of it's just me looking after me and Sunny Bum. Um, but even socially, and also getting older, even pre-COVID, as you get older, your social lives get a lot quieter, and I think there's a lot of us all in the same boat in terms of that. I've just got to the point though that I'm like, well, it is what it is, and I've got shit to do, and I'm actually starting to ask people for help, which is something I've never been good at. I've always tried to fix things myself without asking anyone to help me. But yeah, I do have my beach. I do. And that's what I mean when I was saying earlier, I feel incredibly fortunate that I live where I do. I postponed purchasing my first home till I was in my late 40s, and I did. I nailed it. I found the perfect place for me first time. First time lucky. And I don't take that for granted. And I do know that living where I do, that's my antidepressant. Look out of Handmade Dolls. Scout loves your videos. It just sucks that we don't all live close to you. Even with my beautiful friend who's been home for 3 weeks, she's got a lot going on in her world, and she's on the other side of the world and doesn't have a lot of friends because of the nature of her husband's job. They moved a lot, and she's got very unwell parents back here and constantly wants to be back here, but she's got a son, and I just said I wish she just lived at the end of the street, and I feel that way with you too, Out of Handmade Dolls. I think Scout and I both just wish that you lived at the end of the street. But I really do hope that if you speak to the Ombudsman, that they can look after you. And so look at that, Scout's giving you, and your time zones would be a lot better than mine as well. But I'm also always happy to chat. My email's smoothcriminalchannel@gmail.com. My phone hasn't been charging. I don't know why, but that's annoying because it's not charging in that plug either. It's alright. I'll find a charger in the office, I'm sure. No, but you need to. I might need a new cord. That's alright. I have one of those little metal plates that you pop your phone on, so you don't have to plug it in. Yeah, you're not alone at all out of Hamo Dolls and stuff. And Scout's an amazing friend. She checked in on me the other day. The same morning, Francesca both checked in and they're like, "We miss you." I was like, "I miss you guys too. Thank you for checking in." Life just got really busy. I mean, ever since my auntie died, life's been a bit full on for us. And especially like not having parents, losing an auntie that you're close to, it's a massive. It's like going over. It's like reliving mum and dad's death. I mean, mum was young when she died, so Auntie Ange kind of stepped in and was a bit of a mum for us. So life has been a little bit, yeah. I have disappeared off the radar a bit, but it's more for out of necessity and us rallying and grieving and all that stuff. And then today is being their's anniversary, but I said to a friend of mine last night, and it's another friend of mine's anniversary as well, Bibbs, but I said to this mate of mine last night, like December for me is, there are very few days that aren't an anniversary of somebody's death. A lot of people die in December. And even though I'm not YouTubing all the time, like I'm always around for people if they need a shoulder to cry on, but or someone to laugh with. But yeah, out of Handmade Dolls, honestly, get onto the ombudsman because if they get involved, your stress and anxiety is going to drop significantly regarding what's happened at home, and you're going to have people that have the resources to and they're able to help you. But also dealing with the power company and everything else, like all of that will be their responsibility, and you really will feel massive relief. It's going to take, I say this to my clients all the time when we refer them to lawyers because we're only funded to help people to a certain point. But I always say to the clients, if you've got a lawyer representing you and they write to all of the parties and all correspondence has to go through them, like it's an instant sigh of relief moment because you've got other people that have the capacity to help you. It's their job. They get paid to help you. I'm so sorry that's happened to you, but hopefully it will get fixed and they might be able to bring in some established trees, or you might be about to have a whole new garden adventure with new things to watch them grow. I hope someone can help you too. I mean, unfortunately, the similar stuff happens here. Like we've had in a previous legal role clients who got home from work one day and their entire garden's been dug up because of a pipe issue. Like the water company's gone in and ripped up their garden and then just left. And we're like, no, 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 no. You need to go back and restore it to how it was before you trash their property. So, yeah, I'm hoping somebody helps you and that you get either, replacements for what's been destroyed, or they put new plants in and you get to watch them grow. We're sending really positive thoughts and You know, there's someone live. Check in and let us know how you go with the ombudsman. Um, this isn't something you should personally have to repair and pay for yourself. So I'll be going live a lot more in the new year. January I'll be live a lot. So keep us posted, even if you do it via Scout, and Scout can update us all on how things are going. And yeah, look, I wish you all the best with it. I'm really sorry that you're dealing with all of this, but there are people out there that get paid to help people in the situation that you're in, and we're sending you all lots of love. All right, second last day for work for me. It's going to be a little shitter because I already know what's in my calendar. I better get in there because, yeah, I'm going to have somebody tapping their toes ready to speak to me at 9 o'clock. But yeah, love you, Groovers. Have a beautiful day and spend a bit of today just remembering YouTube and the way it used to be and how much fun we used to have. I'm the stupid optimist that thinks we can get it back to being like that. So that's my focus in the new year. And much love to all of you. You're all loved, you all matter, and you're all beautiful people. Bye for now.